In my Shivananda practice that I started off with, we always began with Shavasana as well, which is a nice thing. And it's a restorative class. So we're going to do some things on the back. So it's a good segue. And also there was a great yoga teacher, Eric Schiffman, who always said, the first thing you should do in the morning when you get out of bed is Shavasana. On the hard floor, though, not in the bed, right? Because then you can really feel where you're holding tension in your body. That's the idea. And if you have glasses on, you might want to take them off. You can put them on the block or something so they don't get, crushed by anyone. Okay. So observe your body. So this is basically anatomical neutral for your body. And observe your breath. And just let your nervous system settle down. And be in this position. In the Alexander technique, they call it the full stop period at the end of the sentence, right? And as we know, shav means corpse and asana means pose. So it's a practice of letting go. But the first step in letting go is knowing you're holding on, right? So we're focusing with what we sense and feel of the muscular holding on in the body, right? So observe your toes and feet and ankles, calves and shins and knees. And just let everything soften. Thighs and hips and buttocks, lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulder blades, the sides of the body, the rib cage and chest, and the whole abdominal region, upper abdomen, middle and lower abdomen, the armpits, and the shoulders and the shoulder blades, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands and fingers, tops of the shoulders, right and left, right side of the neck, left side of the neck, front of the throat, back of the neck, base of the skull, scalp, forehead, eyebrows, eyelids, eyes, face, tongue, teeth, jaw, throat, heart and lungs, all the organs of digestion, elimination, procreation, nervous system, and brain. And observe how your feet fall apart. Maybe one leg is turned out more than the other. You'd feel more of that side of the leg turned out more. And if you travel up to your hips, you might notice then that makes your hips tilt towards that side as well. So you feel there's more heaviness on that side than the other side. And then observe the curve of your lower back. How strong is the curve of your back? And is there tension there? And is there more curve on one side than the other? Maybe one hip is more hiked up towards that side rib cage than the other. So you might feel a shortening in the waist on that side as well. And also your lower back ribs, right? So you have your lower front ribs where your diaphragm is, and directly behind that, your lower back ribs. So are they touching the mat, or are they lifted up, and how high, and is there tension there? And what about the shoulder blades? Are they even? Is one shoulder blade lifted higher than the other, more out to the side than the other? Observe how the arms lay. Is one arm more out to the side than the other? Is one arm more turned out than the other? Is one shoulder more turned in towards the chest than the other? Is one shoulder higher up towards the ear than the other? And observe the curve of your neck and the placement of your head. So is your head tilted to one side or the other, or shifted to one side or the other? Okay, so noticing how you feel. We're going to do some gentle somatic movements, and then we'll come back and reassess how Shavasana feels, which is neutral, right? This is anatomical neutral. So we're going to bend the knees. in order to bend the knees, just turn one leg out and slide the knee up, and then tilt the knee up so the foot comes flat. Let that knee fall in towards the center of your body, and the other leg turn out, slide the knee up gently, tilt the knee up, and the foot comes flat. So both feet are flat, and you can rock a little bit side to side on your pelvis. And then adjust your feet so they're a comfortable distance from your buttocks and from each other, so you can just, the feet are neutral, and bring your arms down maybe a little bit more towards your hips, not too much, but a comfortable distance, but not too high. So we're going to do arch and release. So we're going to engage the lower back muscles and roll the hips forward like a rolling pin. So the hips stay on the ground, right? And then we're going to slowly release. So observe your lower back muscles right above your sacrum area and engage those and start to roll your pelvis forward like a rolling pin. So you're rolling towards your tailbone and sitting bones, and you're arching your lower back up off the mat, engaging the back muscles. Observe the engagement of your back muscles and then smoothly release that engagement and come back to neutral, and observe neutral. Observe how neutral may have changed. And then again, as you inhale, lift your lower back up and roll your hips forward, pressing your sitting bones and tailbone down. So like a rolling pin, pushing into your tailbone and sitting bones, arching the back. Observe that engagement. And then as you exhale, slowly and smoothly release the engagement of the back muscles, and observe that release, and observe any shaky or jerky movements or falling off a cliff. And so you can't control the movement. That would be sensory motor amnesia in the muscles. They're chronically tight and holding and don't know how to let go. So we're retraining those muscles and reconnecting those muscles to the brain so that you can sense and feel them and know what it feels like to contract and release. We'll do that again. Inhale, engage your lower back muscles. Roll your pelvis forward like a rolling pin, pressing the sitting bones and tailbone down. Let the back of your neck release when you do this, so that you'll feel that your spine gets short because it's arching, and you can let the back of the neck lengthen and the chin in towards the chest. And then smoothly release that engagement. And you can take as many breaths as you like. You don't have to do this on 1 or 2 breaths. You can do it as many breaths as you like. The most important thing is to feel the release and the engagement, but mostly the release. Do this a couple more times. So as you inhale, you engage and roll your pelvis forward. And as you engage the back body, release anything holding on in the front body, so it's easier to move. And then smoothly release the engagement of the back. Don't engage anything in the front, just release what was engaged in the back. And one more time. Inhale, lift the lower back up and roll the pelvis forward. Feel that engagement travel up towards your upper back. And if you want, you can externally rotate your upper arm bones and press the outer edge of the upper arms down and let the back of the neck lengthen even more. And then smoothly release all that engagement and come back to neutral and observe neutral. Okay, so you might feel that your back is softer and longer than it was when you began. And then we're going to do the opposite movement, which is flatten. So that's engaging the front body and releasing the back body. And that comes on an exhale. So you inhale to prepare. And then as you exhale, sink your lower belly down like the blender, the middle of the blender pulls down towards the bottom. So pull your abdomen down towards your spine. Press, let your hips roll back and press the sacrum and the lower back down as the sitting bones and tailbone curl up, right? So release what's holding on in the back. And then as you inhale, smoothly release the engagement of the abdominal muscles. Don't engage anything in the back. Just release the front and allow your hips to roll back to neutral. You'll probably feel a little more curve again. So we'll do this again. Take an inhale. As you exhale, sink the lower belly down and really pull it down towards the spine and allow the hips to roll back and sense which side of your sacrum is higher off the ground, and press it down firmly and allow the sitting bones and tailbone to lift up. You'll start to feel now your spine is being pushed up towards your head. So let your chin lift, letting the back of your neck release. And then as you inhale, smoothly release all of that engagement. Come to neutral, exhale and observe neutral, right? You can adjust if you get stuck in your neck or something. And then we'll start to bring it up towards the middle abdomen. Take an inhale. As you exhale, sink the lower belly down. Let your hips roll back. Press your lower back and sacrum down, tailbone, sitting bones lift up. Now find the belly button area of your abdomen and sink that part of your waist down. See if you can get that part of your back towards the mat, and observe when you do that, the shoulders want to lift a little and the head falls back even more. So you're contracting the front. And then as you inhale, you smoothly release that contraction and allow your hips and shoulders and neck and everything to come back to neutral. Then we'll add the upper abdomen. So you take an inhale, and then as you exhale, sink the lower belly down, let the hips roll back, press the lower back down. And then the middle waist by the belly button, sink that and see if you can find that part of your back to press down. And then the lower front ribs, right? Sink those down. So it's like an abdominal crunch, and press the lower back ribs down. Now your shoulders will really lift off and your head will fall back. And then smoothly release all that engagement and come back to neutral and observe neutral. And then go ahead and extend your legs one by one and come back to Shavasana and observe Shavasana, anatomical neutral, and see if anything has changed in your back body. I can see it. Can you feel it, Julia? Maybe a little? Yeah. What do you feel? A little release and length, you say?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's the idea. So, and this is something you can do every day, 2-3 times a day if you wanted to, right? It's simple but powerful release of chronically held tension. And the back body tension is called the green light reflex. So it's a go, 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 right? Baby finds its back muscles and then they engage and they never stop, right? And then the front body over engagement is the startle reflex, or the red light reflex, where we contract the front body and curl up like a ball, right? So we can get stuck in one or both of those reflexes in different parts of our body. So this arch and release, flatten and release, helps to release those chronic contractions, right? And regain sensory motor control. So now we're going to go back and forth with those two movements. So when you bend your legs up, just turn one leg out, slide the knee up, tilt the knee up, let that knee dip into the midline, slide the other knee up, tilt the knee up. Let the knees rock back and forth a few times. And as you do this, observe rocking back side to side on your sacrum. And then come to neutral and bring your arms maybe a little bit more down and observe neutral, okay, with your feet a comfortable distance from each other and your buttocks. And then we'll begin with arch. So as you inhale, you lift your lower back up and roll your hips forward like a rolling pin, pressing the sitting bones and tailbone down. And then as you exhale, just smoothly release the engagement of your lower back muscles and observe that release, and come to neutral and observe neutral. Pause there. Make any adjustments if you need. Take an inhale. As you exhale, sink the lower belly down and let your hips roll back, pressing the lower back down in the sacrum, but allow the tailbone and sitting bones to curl up. Observe that engagement of the abdomen. And then as you inhale, smoothly release the engagement of your abdomen, come to neutral and observe neutral. Okay. And then when you're ready, on your inhale, you engage your back muscles, roll your pelvis forward like a rolling pin, pressing the sitting bones and tailbone down. The lower back lifts up and arches, and you can allow that to go up towards your upper back a little more as you're ready, and let the back of the neck lengthen, and then smoothly release all that engagement very slowly and observe the release as you come back to neutral. Pause in neutral to observe and breathe, and then flatten. As you exhale, sink the lower belly down, let the hips roll back, sitting bones, tailbone curl up, press the lower back down, maybe sink the middle of the waist down as well, so the shoulders start to lift up off the ground, tailbone curls up. Observe that engagement and then smoothly release all that engagement. Come to neutral and observe neutral, and make any adjustments whenever you need. And then inhaling, you lift your lower back up and roll your pelvis forward, pressing the sitting bones and tailbone down. And you can let that curve, that engagement, come all the way to the upper back if you like, pressing the outer edge of the upper arms down. And then the arms start to go into external rotation and lift up, you know, slide up towards the head side. Now you smoothly release all that engagement and come to neutral and observe neutral. Take a breath. You can bring the arms a little closer in towards the sides. And then as you exhale, sink the lower belly down, let the hips roll back, sitting bones, tailbone curl up, sink the middle of the waist down, and then see if you can find the upper abdomen. So the lower front ribs sink towards the lower back ribs, and the lower front ribs and the pubic bone come towards each other. And let the shoulders lift off the ground and start to turn the upper arm bones at the shoulder in towards the chest, into internal rotation as the head falls back. And then smoothly release all that engagement. Come back to neutral and observe neutral. So when you add the arms and the legs, which we'll do next, then it becomes what's called the flower. It's a little more active. So that's the bud when you engage the front, and then this is the flower when you engage the back and open the front body. So inhaling, let your hips roll forward, arching your lower back, press the sitting bones and tailbone down, and let the knees lay apart when you do that. And you can let that engagement go all the way up the spine and start to press the outer edge of the upper arms down and externally rotate the upper arms. You can even lift the elbows off the ground if you like, and let your knees come a little more apart, like a flower opening. And then smoothly release all that engagement as you exhale and come back to neutral. And then you have to adjust your knees and your arms a little if you do the flower, the full expression. But you don't have to. You can just do it much more minimally just in the torso. And then as you exhale, sink the lower belly down and feel how the knees want to pull together when you do that. Sink the middle of the waist down. See how the shoulders start to lift. Sink the upper ribs down, and then the head really falls back. The shoulders really lift. Now you can turn your upper arms into internal rotation at the shoulders. And so the backs of the hands face the outer hips and squeeze a little bit the inner body, and then smoothly release all that. Come to neutral, and we'll do it one more time. Inhale, you arch, and you can let your arms and legs come apart into external rotation if you like, back of the neck lengthen. And then you smoothly release all that engagement and come to neutral, come a little closer in towards neutral with your arms and legs, and then exhale, sink your lower belly. Let your hips roll back, let your knees come towards each other, middle waist, the shoulders lift, upper waist, the head falls back, and turn the upper arms. So the shoulders roll in towards the chest, the arms can come all the way off the ground, backs of the hands at the outer hips. And then smoothly release all that engagement, come back to neutral. Once again, extend your arms and legs, back to Shavasana and reassess Shavasana. And see how you feel. Maybe a little bit more evenness, a little bit more letting go, a little more softness in the back body. Okay, so then we're going to do some side to side release, the side body, like the all right arm, left leg kind of thing, or side body contractions are called trauma reflex. Any kind of trauma in the body, that's the side to side reflex. So or cross lateral. So we'll do the windshield wipers action with the legs, and then the wash rag with the arms. So again, turn your opposite leg out now and slide the knee up, tilt the knee up, let the knee dip into the midline, slide the other knee up, tilt the knee up, and then rock your legs a little side to side. And when you do that, rock your pelvis also, roll to one side. That other hip lifts up a little. You can roll side to side on your pelvis and observe your lower back and your sacrum and everything. And then come to neutral. And then widen your feet all the way to the outer edges of the mat and turn your toes in, heels out, and let your inner thighs, don't squeeze your inner thighs, but just let them fall towards each other, internal rotation. And then just observe this internal rotation of your legs. Turning in towards the midline is internal rotation. Turning out is external rotation. And observe how this spreads the buttocks away from the sides of the sacrum and broadens the sacrum and lower back. And then go ahead and bring your knees apart and adjust your feet to neutral, but keep your feet to the outer edges of your mat and keep your arms now a little bit higher up towards your shoulders and spread your upper back and chest and arm area. So don't go higher than your shoulders, but a little bit more towards your shoulders. And keep your feet wide apart for a wide-legged, one-legged windshield wiper. So we're just going to do the right leg 3 times. So take a breath, and then as you exhale, allow your right leg to slowly dip into the midline of your body, into internal rotation, right? And don't force it with muscular action, rather release whatever's holding on that doesn't allow for the movement okay? So release the outer hip and thigh and buttock. So the right hip also turns in towards the left hip, and there's more weight now on the left hip, and the left leg starts to move a little out to the left to support that action. But don't go all the way in with the left leg, right? Just let it move a little so you can create more internal rotation of the right leg. And it's a slow release. You're really feeling and sensing the muscles that are contracting, slowly releasing. And then inhale, you come back up. And then when you come up, rock a little side to side and widen your knees towards your feet. So you get width in your pelvic floor. And then again, as you exhale, release your right leg in towards the midline. So it dips in, internal rotation. And observe how the hip also turns in, lifts off the ground a little bit, right? And you roll more towards your left hip. Now, let the front of your right leg lengthen and reach. So your right knee reaches a little bit towards the front edge of your mat, the skinny edge at where your feet point. So now your right hip comes off the ground even more, and you're leaning more onto your left hip. Left leg might move out to the side a little bit more. And you can feel the skin, always sense that the skin lengthening on the front of your right hip and groin and thigh area. So the reason we slow it down is so that you can really sense and feel that, ideally. And then inhale, you come back up, raise your right leg up and roll to the right hip, left hip a few times, and just kind of gently sway back and forth on your sacrum, and then widen your inner thighs and knees. And we'll do it one more time on the right. So you dip the right leg into internal rotation, feel how the hip turns in and starts to lean towards the left. And then at some point, allow the front of the leg to reach. So the knee reaches towards the front edge of the mat and the hip lifts off even more as you release the muscles at the front of the groin and hip. And then slowly release, and you can adjust your left foot, the inner left leg. And so the left leg comes all the way out now into external rotation. So the right leg is in internal rotation and the left leg is in external rotation in a wide-legged windshield wiper. Okay, and then come back up slowly and roll side to side. The feet are at the outer edges of the mat. So it's a wide windshield wiper, right? And widen the inner thighs and knees. We're going to do this on the left now. So as you exhale, release the left leg into the midline. And remember, you can breathe, freely, as many breaths as it takes. It's not about the breath so much. But allow the left leg to dip into the midline and observe how you kind of have to let your right leg release out to the side a little in order to let the left hip turn in also. So the left hip gets light and there's more and more weight on the right hip, right? So there's a turn towards the right. Okay, and then inhale and slowly raise the left leg up and rock a little side to side and widen your inner thighs and knees. Take a breath and observe. And then as you exhale again, the left leg turns in, right, into internal rotation and dips into the middle. And your left hip turns in and your right leg starts to go out to the side a little. Now reach the front of the right leg and knee the left leg and knee towards the front edge of your mat as you release the skin and flesh on the top of your left thigh and groin. And your left hip is now all the way off the mat. And all your weight's on your right outer hip and your right leg is a little bit more out to the side. Observe that. And then lift the left leg up and roll to the left hip, roll to the right hip, widen the inner thighs and knees, adjust the pelvis, take a breath. And then last time, you're going to exhale and dip the left leg in. Feel that internal rotation. The hip turns in, the right leg comes out to the right a little, and then you reach the front of the left leg towards the skinny edge of the mat. So the left hip comes all the way off the ground as you release the skin and flesh on the front of the left leg. And then you release the inner right thigh. You can adjust the right foot and let the right leg come all the way out to the side in a windshield wiper, wide-legged windshield wiper. So both legs are to the right. Left leg is in internal rotation, right leg is in external rotation, turned out. And then inhale and raise the legs up and rock side to side and observe a neutral pelvis. And then bring your feet a little closer together. And we'll do some more windshield wipers, and then we'll add the arms into the wash rag. So now you're going to release your legs to the left, and you can slowly release both the legs and observe the release of the right leg and hip and thigh, and reach that right knee, right? So your right leg, your hip really comes off the ground, and you can let your feet slide a little bit on the blanket. You don't have to hold the feet in a certain position, right? So legs are to the left, and allow your neck, rather than turning it as much as you can, just allow it to release to the right, opposite of the leg. So it's a gentle twist, right? And then inhale, raise your legs up and let your head come up as a consequence of that. You can adjust your feet. And then as you exhale, release your legs to the right, slow, controlled release. Observe the release. Let that front of the left leg reach. So more and more of the left hip comes off the ground. And then release the neck slowly without forcefully turning it. Allow it to release. Like, what will your nervous system allow rather than you forcing? Right? So it's a gentle twist, legs to the right, head to the left, opposite of the knees. And then you inhale to lift your legs and your head comes up, and then you can adjust your feet a little. I like to move them a little to the other side, and then release the legs to the left and head to the right again. Now observe your right shoulder. So you're looking to the right and your legs are to the left. And observe how your right shoulder is right up to your ear. Now lift your shoulder off the ground and then draw the shoulder blade down the back and externally rotate your right arm. Lift the elbow off the ground and let your head release even more to the right, and your palm turns. So you're engaging your right arm and turning it, and you look to the right hand, and your palm faces the head side. Release your right arm down, and then inhale, raise your legs up. And as you exhale, knees to the right, head to the left. Wash windshield wipers. Now, observe your left shoulder is probably high up towards your ear. Lift your left shoulder all the way off the ground. Draw the shoulder blade down the back. So you turn the arm from the shoulder, not from the hand and wrist. So you turn from the upper arm, lift the elbow, and observe how the head releases even more, and the palm faces the top of the head. So your left arm is engaged. And then you slowly release, and then you release the left arm. Inhale, raise the legs up. Exhale, legs to the left, head to the right. Lift the right shoulder, turn the right arm into external rotation and look to the right. So you can just focus on the externally rotated arm, or you can start to turn the other arm. So then you lean to the right, lift the left shoulder off the ground, turn that left shoulder in towards the chest. So the elbow comes off the ground. So the left arm is in internal rotation. That's the wash rag, like twisting a wash rag. Arms are engaged. Release the arms back to neutral. Inhale, lift the legs. Exhale, release the legs to the right, head to the left. Lift the left shoulder off the ground and turn the left arm into external rotation. Lean to the left so you can lift the right shoulder off the ground. Turn the right upper arm into internal rotation. And you'll notice your right shoulder and left hip are closer together, right? And then you smoothly release the arms, come to neutral, lift your legs up, and then exhale, legs to left, head to right. And then you can do both arms kind of simultaneously, right? In the wash rag, and then you release the arms and lift the legs, and then you can do arms and legs simultaneously. As you release the legs, you engage the arms. As you release the arms, you engage the legs to lift up, and then you release the legs to the side as you engage the arms. So as you loosen up, you can kind of do both simultaneously, but there's confusion, right? So let me address any confusion. So the arm you're looking at is always in external rotation because that's what's going to free up your neck, right? Right? So your legs go, so it's a twist, right? So that means if your legs go one way, your head goes the other way, right? This is not it. Okay. So now if you're doing this, that's not comfortable, right? It's external rotation in order to free up your neck more. You see? Yes. And this one does the opposite. So the shoulder comes off the ground. So it's a wash rag. See how you twist a wash rag? Yes. And observe how this shoulder and hip are closer together. When you let this reach. Yes. Yes. Now release your arms and lift your legs, right? And so it's simple but complicated. The more simple are often the more complicated. So here's your legs, and they're going to which direction? Left. So then the head goes. Yeah, so it's like rubbing your belly on the top of your head. And then this arm, external rotation. Yes, and this arm, internal. So these two are closer together. And then you release, come to neutral, right? And then it starts to become like your body becomes like a worm, right? Yeah. So if this is new to you, just forget the arms, separate the feet a little bit more, and then just do the legs and allow it to be a slow, controlled release. And then naturally, what should occur in your head, ideally? Which direction? Follow that. See how you whip the head over there? Don't whip the head, right? Allow it to release instead of whipping it over. Okay. So you're slowing down the movement and seeing what your nervous system will allow. Okay. And then when you feel complete, come back to Shavasana. So these movements are they're not for you to strengthen or stretch. Okay. They're for you to slow down and connect your brain to your body. And it's very powerful for your nervous system. Does this make sense? Yes. So it's about release, letting go. Okay. And so muscles can only contract and release. That's it. Okay. Well, they can contract or stop contracting, basically. So we get into chronic contraction, and then that gets into a loop in our nervous system. So it's only going to our spinal cord, not our brain. Always contract, never let go. So you're trying to reestablish a connection to your brain. I feel it. I can command it. Stop engaging, please. I beg of you. Okay. All right. Come to Shavasana. Reassess Shavasana. You seem more even now. Kanako, can you feel that? Did you notice that your left leg was really way turned out when you first came in? And now they're even. Yeah. So you just see how powerful this is. So this is why I'm encouraging you to explore these moves on your own, right? At home. And let this be like the thing that brings you back to sanity day in and day out. We all need that, don't we? Right? It's just basically rolling around on the floor. That's my favorite yoga, especially if you have a warm floor. Okay. But then you want, of course, it's not that you only want to do this and never do active things. I'm not saying that, but this is like a powerful way of really getting to know your body. So see if you can find evenness now. Yeah. And feel what that feels like. Yeah. So you can make adjustments. Yeah. And then stop holding on in your skull and brain and eyes. Come out of your brain now. Come into your whole body. So your whole body is intelligent. Your brain is in your whole body. Your nervous system exists in your whole body, right? It's powerful everywhere, not just up there in the skull. Okay. So then we'll do alternating knees to chest. Okay. So roll the legs in towards each other, Supta Tadasana. And extend your arms for a moment overhead. Make sure you have enough room and you don't touch the wall. And if you need to scoot down, just scoot down a little. So roll your thighs, inner thighs down towards the mat, inner knees down towards the mat. So your feet point straight up. Firm your knees. Tail a little towards your pubic bone. So the back of the lower back is not super arched. Bend your elbows alongside your rib cage. So your elbows are close in. Palms face each other, fingers spread. Wrists are right over the elbows. Dig your elbows down, lift your whole upper back off the ground, and find your upper arms, your deltoids, right at the top of your upper arm. Roll that down so the outer edge of the upper arm touches the ground. And this is like bridge in the chest, right? And let the back of the neck lengthen. Don't harden the back of the neck. Soften the back of the neck and the front of the throat. Now, widen your lower front ribs and sink the sides of the waist down. So your lower back ribs start to sink down towards the mat. Observe how the front and the back body connect. So if you're pushing the front body out, the back body is also being pushed up, lifted up off the ground, right? It's arching, it's engaging. So sink the waist, even as you lift the chest and spread the top chest, sink the waist down. Now extend your arms down along your sides and firm your elbows and firm your knees. Feet point up. And then inhale, take your arms straight up overhead, keep your elbows and wrists and fingers straight, and go all the way, extend your thumbs down towards the ground so your thumb tips touch the ground like you're hitchhiking. And then reach your arms and reach your legs. So extend your inner feet and legs away from your pelvis, and your outer feet pull back toward your outer hips. And then reach your arms and reach your torso so you get really long in your torso. And observe how this is a back bend when you take your arms overhead. Observe how your lower ribs pop up. So now as you exhale, sink your lower ribs towards the mat and let that help you lift your arms up. And then bend your right knee and interlace your fingers just below your right knee. Hold your right knee, and without pulling your right knee in, just let the weight of your arms hold your leg. And if it's too difficult to hold on top of the shin, you can hold under the knee. See if you can hold on top of the shin, Julia. Interlace your fingers. Yep. And don't grip, just relax your arms. Okay. Relax your right foot. Relax the groin crease. That's the hip flexor that you use to bend the knee. See if you can relax that. Now observe the curve of your lower back, right? And roll the outer right hip down away from your armpit. And observe how that draws the left leg up a little. Just enough so both your sitting bones point straight down and your pelvis is even. You're not hiking your right hip up. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, sink your waist down and let your hips roll back towards flatten, right? So your lower back starts to come down, and allow your sitting bone to curl up, your right sitting bone off the ground, and travel along the back of the thigh towards the back of the knee as you flatten your back and compress your leg, pulling your knee up towards your chest. And then inhale, extend your right leg, arms overhead, and reach your arms and legs apart from each other and firm your elbows and knees. And then as you exhale, sink your lower front ribs to your lower back ribs to help you raise your arms up. Bend your left knee, interlace your fingers, and hold just below the knee at the top of the shin as you're able. And just let your arms and legs pull each other apart. Don't pull your knee to chest. Rather observe your hips. So you want your hips even. So if you press your left outer hip down, it'll draw your right leg up a little. So your hips are square. Take a breath. Remember, relax the hip flexors. And then as you exhale, sink the lower belly down. So allow your hips to roll back, right, towards flatten. Lower back starts to flatten. And your sitting bones, especially your left one, curls up off the ground, right? And it travels along the back of the thigh towards the back of the knee as you draw the knee up towards the chest and compress a little bit. And then inhale, extend your left leg, arms overhead. And then exhale, sink your ribs to bend your right knee. Once you have your right knee, relax your hip flexors and observe your pelvis and sink your waist so that you go towards flatten as you draw the knee up towards your head side. And that should lengthen the back body. And then inhale, extend, and exhale, bend the left. So you're alternating, right? And roll that left hip away as needed to square your hips, and then exhale and hollow and sink the waist and spread and take the top of the buttocks away from the lower back towards the sitting bone as you curl the sitting bone up off the ground towards the back of the left knee. And then the right leg remains as in Tadasana, ideally. And then continue this action, right? And observe the connection between arch and flat here as well. So you inhale, you take the arms overhead, and the legs are in what we call Supta Tadasana, reclining mountain pose. So Supta means supine, reclining, right? So the legs are straight. And then as you exhale and you bend, right? So, and then you hold the knee. Yeah. And then you work on maintaining this leg a little bit without overdoing the foot, right? And then work on keeping the hips a little bit square. Inhale the belly out, and then exhale, sink the waist down and hollow the waist, and observe the connection between the front and back. So as you press the waist down, the lower back should come more. Yes, release the back and let that travel along. Yeah, and you can hold behind the knee. Yeah, totally. That's fine. And then you can elongate here a little, and don't look up into your brain. Look down. Look down. Yes. Good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then do this 1 or 2 more times. Observe, explore, release. Consider release. So the bent knee leg is releasing. The straight leg maintains a little bit of action, right? And then continue. Finish it up on your left leg. And when you finish on the left, you're going to inhale, extend the arms overhead, and then exhale, lower the arms down to your sides and come back to Shavasana and rest there. Yeah. Good. So when you come to Shavasana, remember you take your arms down. Yep. And then come back. So when you take your arms out like this, right? Look here. So this is like not healthy on your joints, right? So you've done this, you do this, and then come back, right? And you're practicing straight arms and handstand, right? This is handstand, right? So, and it's much healthier for your joints than doing that bending thing, right? Is to keep it's because you have a kinematic chain. Your wrist, elbow, shoulder, right? So each one is affecting the other. So when you move the arms, they should all be firm. So you have a stick, right? Yeah. And should not like this, right? Like if you're doing like this, then everything getting stuck here, right? So everything has to be straight and connected. So that's why we talk a lot about extension when we're doing the active part. But in the resting part, then everything's like a rag doll. So you may have heard of heart rate variability, right? And the ability to go back and forth between the two parts of the nervous system. And that's actually the best health, right? Not to get stuck. And then we raise the bar. It keeps going higher and higher into usually excess, right? For most of us, into too much action and not enough rest. So the ability to go back and forth between action and rest is a super important part for a healthy nervous system. Okay, and then we'll do some single leg raises. So roll your legs together again, bend your elbows, lift your chest, draw the shoulder blades down, firm the knees, extend the, draw the outer edge of the upper arms down, widen the lower front ribs, sink the sides of the waist down so the lower back ribs come down, sink the lower belly to the spine, and that'll pull the frontal hip points a little towards each other and also draw the inner legs down. And then extend your arms, turn your palms down as you roll your shoulders open. Sink your waist, press your left leg down, and inhale, raise your right leg up, and exhale down. Inhale, raise the left leg up, pressing the right leg down, and exhale down. So you alternate, palms flat. Yeah, knees straight, both knees straight, both legs straight, like sticks. Firm knees, firm legs, both legs maintain straight. Yeah, good. And don't kick the leg, raise it and lower it, right? Yeah, that's it. Good. And observe the straightness. So you extend the inner leg, pull the outer leg back, and then you slowly lower it. And both legs stay as they are in Tadasana or Dandasana. And the waist is firm, palms down. Yeah. And maintain the sunken waist. Yeah. And look down into your heart, not up into your brain. Yeah. Because if you look up, look at what happens. These are eye muscles, right? Keep the back of the head. And also it's too much in the brain, get in the body. Good, good. One more time on each leg. Finish up on your left leg. And then come to Shavasana and take a couple breaths in Shavasana. Good. Yeah. Good. And it's important to be mindful when you do these, not to throw the leg up as high as you can, right? So really fast, but you want to keep this sunk here, right? Because if this pushes up, this is pushing up. They connect, right? So this has to stay back, and it doesn't matter how high you go, okay? More important to maintain the stability of the torso and the straightness of the legs, okay? Now come to Shavasana, rest. When you come to Shavasana, be mindful of your tendencies, right? And see what you can feel there. Don't go to sleep. But rather, it's like I like what my Rinpoche calls it, horizontal awareness. Right? We tend to fall asleep when we get horizontal. So, yeah, good. Okay. So access your inner ragdoll. And also you can think about it like a tortoise coming out of its shell. So the arms and legs are the, tortoise, and the shell is the the midsection. So allow that to broaden. Yes, good. So then we'll do this leg pump. So you take your belt and you open the belt up wide, and then you can watch me for a second. So it's a big, big open belt. Knees can be bent, and then you raise your right leg up. Put the belt around just under the ball of the foot, and then watch how I hold the belt. So I press my palms towards the leg, hook my thumbs, slide the hands back, turn the hands towards each other, and then wrap the fingers around so the thumbs point up, right? And then you'll see how much belt you need. It depends on how flexible you are. And then you're going to straighten your left leg. And then your arms and leg stay straight, both legs. And you pull the arms overhead, and that stretches the leg. And then you pull the leg away just to give it enough relief. And then you pump, right? So you pull with the arms, pull with the leg. And you can adjust. Maybe you need your arms further overhead. Maybe you need your arms closer to your leg. And you're just exploring, lengthening the back of the leg here. Oof. You might feel it closer to your sitting bone area, buttocks. Okay. And you don't have to release all the way to the ground, right? Don't release all the way to the ground. And then you can do 5 or 10 pumpings and change legs and repeat on each side multiple times. Yeah. So you can kind of explore. It's a nice move. Yeah. Stay here and breathe. And then let me take your hands here. Yeah. Okay. Now change legs. Do it on the other leg. No, do not keep your leg up. Bend your other knee. Bend this knee. You don't have to go so high. Now lift this leg up. Put the foot in the belt. Take this leg down. And you can start with a bent knee, right? And then you can adjust your hands. Maybe got a little too far back. Turn your fingers in like that. Have your arms even. Okay. Now straighten your right leg out. Straight. Yeah. And don't be so forceful. Okay. Right. Just and keep a hold on the belt. So, you don't have to go all the way over, right? Just like this. All right. Okay. Straight elbows, straight wrists. Yeah. Straight legs. This leg maintains a little bit of Tadasana, right? This is not Tadasana, that's Shavasana. Yes. Good. Yeah, 5, 10 times on each leg, repeat on the other side, okay? Explore. This, and then you released it about there, right? This is enough relief. You don't need to go all the way down. Yeah, just like that. And these, see, you're ignoring these guys. So this one's going every which way. Your kinematic chain on this side is doing this, right? So you're staying straight, arms and legs. Yes, that's better. And be a little less forceful. Be a little more soft and gentle with yourself and feel more instead of manhandle. And like, so that's our active nervous system, the fight flight. It's like go, go, go. So we're trying to stimulate the other one, rest, digest. Okay. Yes, good. Okay, and then when you feel complete, finish on your left and rest in Shavasana, a couple breaths. It can be hard to get out of that nervous system, right? That mindset. Because, hey, we live in New Jersey, so. But it's everywhere in its own form, So, right? And when you rest, let go of the belt. Yeah. So this is a pose. You're in this pose. You're in it to win it. You're going to be the most relaxed human on the planet is the goal. But that doesn't mean depressed. That doesn't mean lethargic. That doesn't mean no bones or flesh, It just means that you're not overactive. You don't have to be overactive. There's no emergency, right? Yeah, but we get stuck in the emergency. Everything's an emergency, right? That's all we have a negativity bias. And that's all we see is what's wrong. in the environment. So, but there's a lot that's right, and mostly it's neutral. Probably 90%. Okay, so now bend your knees, roll over, and come up. Take your time. Sit on your heels in Vajrasana. So you can take whatever support you need, a roller under your ankles, something between your hips and heels. Work towards outer ankles in. So you lengthen the inner and outer ankles equally as you sit back. Try not to let your heels splay apart, right? So working towards getting the heels in between the sit bones. They probably won't go, but trying that. Okay, and if you can't sit all the way back, that means you need a roller under your ankles and or something between your hips and heels. So grab a blanket, grab 2 blankets. Do you have 2 blankets more? Grab both blankets. Yeah, good. And try one between your hips and heels. See if that's enough. And if it's the tops of your feet that bother you, you're going to need a roller. Huh. Is that enough? You're still leaning a little forward. So where can you really give all your weight to your feet? Okay. You might want a little roller under your ankles. So it looks like this. So you can have one more blanket like this, and you roll it and you put it under your ankles. Yeah, and you might just need a little roller. That might be enough. Try that. And put that under your knees. Put the front part even under your knees, right? So you have more softness under your knees, and then you roll this up. Then your feet hang off more. Yeah, pull that back, pull that back, pull that back. Yeah, now your knees go all the way to the front edge of that one. Yep, bring your knees all the way forward. Yep, all the way. That's and now roll up. Yeah, you can, if you'll see if you need more roller. Now take the other one between your hips and heels. Then you have both. So there's no shame in using support. That's what this is all about. Okay, now do you see how, I want you to really acknowledge a little bit of support goes a long way. Thank you. Good. Now, can you really sit? Yes. Okay, good. So interlace your fingers in front, turn your palms out, spread your palms, pinkies up, thumbs down. Keep your elbows bent. Good. Draw your waist back, tailbone a little forward, so you have support of your, what they call the bandhas. Tailbone forward, waist back, so you're not doing this, right? Yeah, and here too, front ribs to back ribs. Yes, now you're more in neutral. So the ribs, look here for a second, lower your hands. The ribs don't live here in front of your hips, okay? The ribs live here, right over your hips. I know. So then what happens is your chest collapses, right? So you're trying to contain your ribs as you lift your chest. Look here, ribs back. Yeah, yes, more like that, exactly like that. Shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders, ribs over hips. Interlace your fingers. And you have to maintain a little tailbone forward, sides of the waist back to do that. Turn your palms. Yeah, don't straighten your arms yet. Yep, but elbows up, shoulder blades down. Now straighten your arms and turn your wrists in towards each other. Pinkies up, thumbs down, and then start to straighten your elbows. Now your shoulders tend to rise up. So you draw the outer edge of the upper arm down, inject the upper arms into the shoulder sockets, shoulder blades on the back, turn the waist, tail forward, lift the pelvic floor a little, even as your hips settle down, and then slowly raise your arms up. Good, and breathe here. Now look here, this also happens here, right? So you have to contain the ribs, front ribs to back ribs, buttocks to buttocks down. Yeah. And then turn your hands more. So your pinkies are more back, thumbs are more forward, wrists face each other. Squeeze your elbows. Now, keep your hips on your heels and lift your ribs up off your waist. Lift one rib up off the other. Use the sides of the body to lift the arms more. Squeeze the elbows in and turn the hands. Slide the sides of the throat back and look up. Pinkies back, thumbs forward, wrists facing each other. Squeeze the elbows. Take the head back. Good. Squeeze the elbows in. Take your head to neutral. Head is at neutral. Chin down, little Julia. Yes. There you go. Arms up and back more. Good. That's it. And then exhale and slowly release. Now we change the interlace. Other pinky on the bottom, other index finger on top, and repeat. Elbows up, shoulder blades down, tailbone forward, ribs back, waist firm. Extend the arms. Turn the wrists towards each other. Pinkies up, thumbs down. Start to squeeze the elbows in. Draw the outer edge of the upper arm down and look here. Inject the arms into the shoulder sockets, shoulder blades on the back from the waist. And then inhale, take the arms up, hips on the heels. Good. Now, without shoving the ribs forward as much as you can, lift the ribs directly up off the waist and off the hips, and one up off the other. Squeeze the elbows, turn the hands, and then look, right? Look at your wrists, pinkies, thumbs, squeeze the elbows, come back, squeeze the elbows, lift, 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 lift. Look straight ahead now, Julia. Look straight ahead. Yes. Arms, squeeze your elbows in towards each other. Yes. Good. Exhale, release. Good. Come to your hands and knees. Curl your toes under and push your heel back. Straighten your knee. You can do that a couple of times on each leg. And then we'll sit on the heels again. This time, heels just a little bit more apart. Draw the outer ankles in, inner and outer ankles equally long. Sitting bones descend between the heels now. Sitting bones between the heels. So we're working towards Virasana, but we're still in Vajrasana. Yes, just like that. Still use your blue blanket. Yep. Good. Yes. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Roll your shoulders back, staying up towards your ears. Look here. Look at me. Shoulders back. Elbows back. See if you can interlace your fingers. Now, before you do anything else, just lift your chest. Good. Squeeze your elbows towards each other, and then pull your arms down and up a few times. And as you pull your arms down, roll your shoulders back and straighten your elbows. So when you roll your shoulders back, if you take your shoulders low and do that, they don't go. If you go up and back, then you can bring your shoulder blades together over your spine, move your spine into your sternum, and really get some movement in your upper back. Yes. Good. And then the next time your arms are straight, stay there. Stay there. And then lift the armpit chest. Take the inner edge of the shoulder blades down, tailbone forward, sides of the waist back. Lift the arms up. And then find that reverse C in the armpit chest. Back of the armpit to the front, front of the armpit up, inner edge of the shoulder blades down, even as you lift the arms up, tail forward, sides of the waist back. Head is neutral. Head is neutral. Inner edge of the shoulder blades down. Yes. Release. Good. Loosen. And then we repeat. Other interlace behind, right? Lift and roll the shoulders. Change the interlace. Squeeze the elbows. Lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Don't lift the head. Yes. That's good. Yes. Then straighten, pulling the arms down and bend a few times. Straighten and bend. Oil up your shoulders. And then roll the upper arm bones back. Here. Upper arm bones up and back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the arms. And straight arms, straight elbows. Straight elbows. Tailbone forward, sides of the waist back. Lift the armpit chest, inner edge of the shoulder blades down. Arms up. Arms up. Find that reverse C in the armpit chest. Back to the front, front up, inner edge of the shoulder blades down. Tailbone forward, sides of the waist back, arms up. Yeah, good. Inner edge of the shoulder blades down. Yeah. All right, and release. Good. And loosen, okay? Come to your hands and knees. And again, so we've been bending the knee and straightening the ankle, and now we flex the ankle and straighten the knee, right? Opposite. You can do that a couple of times and really push your heel back towards the wall behind you and towards the ground. So you stretch your calf out. Yeah, that's it. Good. Okay. And then Virasana. So you need to sit on something for Virasana, right? So you can take a blanket and fold it like this. You might need a bolster. You might still need your roller under your ankles. Okay. I'm showing you from the back, but you'll do it facing me. Knees together, feet apart. And then dig the flesh out from behind the knee and pull that calf flesh straight back towards the heels and spread the calf flesh right as you sit down in between your hips now in between your heels. You can put one hand on each side of the hip. Yes, try that. Knees wide apart, Julia. Knees together, feet wide apart. Yeah. Okay, and grab that bolster. Yeah, and put it on, yes. Now, maybe you need the blue blanket as well. Grab the blue blanket and bring your knees a little more forward. and or you might need the roller seems to be too much in your shins and not in your ankles. Yeah, and then bring that bolster on top of the roller in between your heels. Yes. Better? Okay, good. So then, so what tends to happen, so this is internal rotation of your thighs and your lower leg. They're pointing back, but that's internal rotation. So what tends to happen is we hang out on the inner shin and foot, which is external rotation. So if you just lift and shift and compress the outer edge of that one side, so sit on that side and try to get more on the outer knee, outer shin, outer foot, and then do that on the other side. Sit on the heel like we did before. So you get more of the outer knee, outer shin, outer foot down, and then come back to the middle. Okay, yeah. And then take one hand to one knee and lift that knee up and pull that skin and flesh on the front so the inner knee comes up. And you do that on both sides. So you stretch the front of the ankle, foot, and shin. So your knees, they don't have to be together. They just, you want your thigh bones pointing straight ahead. Okay, so bring your knees more forward, Kanako. Come forward on your blanket. Come forward, walk forward. Pull the blanket back. Yeah, knees together. No, you still use it, but it's not under your thighs. It's just under your buttocks, right? Just under your buttocks. Yeah. Better? Yeah. So observe how your inner groin descends down. Now hook your thumbs into your outer hips and allow that flesh, outer buttocks, to descend down as well, right? So this is Virasana, okay? So we're gonna go to Ekapada Supta Virasana. So you're gonna need a bolster or something behind you to recline on, okay? I'm gonna show you, okay? And I'll help you if you need more support. So come up actually for a moment, come up, and then take whatever you would use for Supta Virasana, okay? So maybe it's a bolster, and a blanket and a block. So you should be tilted up higher than, yeah, let's keep this bolster handy. Let's do this. Okay, and then you could probably use another one of these, but we'll see. Okay, and then this can go a little bit here. Now try sitting on just the bolster this time. So I'm just going to use this thin blanket here like this, but some of you might want a bolster or whatever you need, okay? Come back to Virasana. Yeah, good. Julia, excellent, good. And so for Supta, Ekapada Supta Virasana, it might be better if you're not sitting on support, right? But start with support. Yeah, good. Okay, now you're going to go to Ekapada, which means one leg. So you're keeping your right leg in Virasana, and then slide your left leg forward, come to Dandasana. Yes. Good. Change legs, Kanako. I'm trying to mirror you. Yeah. This leg, we're starting in Dandasana. This leg straight. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, so sit on that blanket. Come forward, Paina. Come all the way towards me. Move everything forward because you're gonna end up, your stuff is gonna slide on the floor. Okay, turn that blanket straight back behind you. And it's probably best if you fold the blanket in half like this, like a bolster shape. Okay. Yeah. And sit on that. It's a little skinny, but it'll do. Okay. Right leg is in Virasana, left leg is in Dandasana. Now, there you go. Okay, now you're going to bend your left leg up and pull the knee tendons out. And then this leg is in Marichyasana. Now, See if you can bring that foot close in towards the buttocks, right? Now, can you lean forward onto your foot and lift your buttocks up off the ground? You can use your hands. Yeah, okay. And then sit back, okay? Right, and hug your shin and sit up nice and straight. Good, okay? Now, lean back into your hands and move your foot forward. So your heel's more in line with your knee, but your knee stays bent. Your left knee stays bent. Yeah, that's it. Lean back onto your hands. Yes, there you go, just a little bit. Now, can you push into your left foot and your right shin and lift your hips up? And then take your buttocks. So pull your waist in and move your sitting bones down towards the backs of your knees. So you elongate your lower back. I'm going to move a little forward even so I'm off the support. And then you sit like this. Okay. And then the next phase is this. Okay, so you start to go back. Yep. And here, look here, tuck your chin, lift your chest. Again, you can press, you can adjust your hips, right? You can adjust this leg. And then eventually you lie back like that. Okay. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, so this is bothering your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's do, why don't you lie back in Baddha Konasana then? And you could do Baddha Konasana, and see how that feels for your knees. Sit right in front of this bolster, turning the other way, face the other way. Yeah, and then sit up and bring your knees to, let's see, let me do this first. Now, feet together, knees apart. Baddha Konasana. Yeah, okay. Now, bring your hands on either side of you and then recline back over this. Yeah, this has to go a little further back. I'm going to give you a little more height under your head, maybe. Try that. And then you have this space for your arms. Is that okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now you can also try, so you can use this leg to adjust, taking this knee to chest. Yeah, you can take the left knee to chest, and then you can take the left knee up. So you can explore, right? If this is enough, then just be here. This might be enough. Keep this knee bent. Yeah. Now lift your hips. No, just yes, and adjust. Yes. So you see how you can adjust your buttocks, right? And you do it by pulling this in and releasing. It's just like arch and flatten. Lift your hips, push into this foot. Yes. Now release your, yes, and engage there. See how you just got more length in your lower back? Right. So that's what I'm saying you can do. Ideally here. Yeah. So you can keep that adjustment. Yeah. And then if you wanted, you could take this knee to chest. Yeah, hold behind the thigh. Yeah, there you go. And then if you wanted, you could do this. Yeah, you could extend the leg straight up. Okay. Yeah. What's harder? Well, the first thing is then that hold behind the leg. You should hold. Use your arms. Yeah. Yeah. Now extend the leg up. Yeah. Now you can take a few breaths there, and now pull the knee to chest. The last thing. Pull. Yeah, that initial lift off is hard. Yeah. But now, then the last thing is hold above the knee, right? And then as you pull the knee to chest, you have to take the buttocks this way. You have to, yeah. So your buttocks is stuck in an arch.
Yes.
So don't do that. So remember arch and flatten. Yeah. So you have to sink here, and you have to lift. Yes. And then keep doing that. So as you lift, yes, it's flatten here. That's the work. Okay. Do you see?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do the other leg. Okay. It's complicated, right? It's complicated, and so that's why you should do more of the arch and flatten and do it really slow, because this, you want to learn how to be able to do that in your poses, right? It's not just to do it lying down. Okay, so then so you, ideally you come out the same way you came in, but it's not the end of the world, however you get out, okay? And then change legs. So now your left leg is in Virasana, right leg is in Dandasana. Take a couple of breaths and observe the difference between the sides. Like, don't think the achievement is I have to get in the full pose and then I'm there and then I've won the game and I get a gold star. You know, it's really to slow down and observe your own body. So use your support to sit on. Yeah, just start with it at least. Then you can take it away. You know, you can adjust. You're not stuck with everything. Just put it under your butt for now. Okay, and put it more under your other butt. Put it under your other butt. Not the left hip, just put it under the right hip. Yes, so the left hip has a place to descend. Yes, and bring your right leg in more towards the midline. In, right leg in. No, that's your left, other one. Yes, Dandasana. So now your hips are even and square. Sense that and feel that. Yes, okay. So this is in preparation for another pose also, Triangle Kaikapada, a forward bend, right? Same idea. Right, but now we're going into the back bend. So then you take this leg into Marichi, right leg, right, into Marichi. Yeah. You okay over there? You want another pose? You're good. Okay. Good. Sit up nice and straight. So you can also lean forward here, right, to make adjustments. Yep. And then sit back, move this foot forward so the heel's more in line with the knee. Yes. So it's for support. Right? Then you lean back a little. Again, you can lift your hips and look, I can take the tailbone, I can elongate the lower back. And when I go down, I have to maintain that bad boy. Don't, yeah, you have to maintain it as you go down. Yes, good. And then maybe you get on your elbows, maybe you move your support or take it away. But before you lay down, again, you can adjust here, right? You can adjust multiple times before you lie down. Oof. And then when you lie down, you'll see you're tipping towards your right foot, right? So you press into your right foot and reach from your outer left hip to your inner left knee, you know, gently to get more length there, right? And you take your time here. And this may be as far as you go. You don't have to bring the knee to chest and extend the leg, right? That's intense stuff. But you can try it, right? So this leg is bent, Raina. Yeah, that's for your support. This has to go here, straight. Yeah. So now you push here. Yeah, just push here and reach a little this way with your leg strength, like that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. That's it. You can do that, but you don't have to. This is enough for you, I think. You just be here. Yeah. Yeah, Emily. And then pull the knee to chest. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay if the knee pops up here. But if it hurts your lower back, then you have to make, yeah. It's okay. Don't force it. Again, you know, that's why we did this Mallex first, to try to think about encouragement. Yes, you can do knee to chest. Yes, good. Yeah, just here. Yeah. Good. Now extend and hold behind the knee. Yeah. Yes, that's a little more exciting. Yeah. See, Kanako's worse off than you. But look, Faina, tuck your chin. Really good. Tuck your chin. Tuck your chin and keep your head down. Tuck your chin and keep your head down. Yes. Good, Faina. Yes. Now relax and bend the knee to chest. You now give it a little more pull in this way. Yeah. And keep reaching here and not to tilt, right? Keep centered. Yeah. Very good. Good. Yes. Yeah, good. And then when you're ready to come out, take your time. Okay. So come up, prop yourself up on your elbows, use your hands, sit up, come back to this Marichyasana shape. Extend your leg back to Dandasana, adjust your hips, adjust this leg. Got a little concocted, yes. But now take a moment and appreciate you don't need it now, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so if you don't slow down and take time to appreciate the changes, they don't stay as much, right? Take that time and then extend your leg and come to Dandasana, both legs. Yeah. Yeah. Firm elbows, firm knees, hands beside your hips. Lift the chest. Yes. Feet together. Now look here, Julia. Inner feet forward, outer feet back. Inner feet forward, pull it. Yes, more. Yes, that much. Now firm your outer knees down, inner knees down. Yeah, and lift your chest. Push into your hands. Lift your chest. Yes, and look to your feet. Good. That's it. Okay. So now let's do support. Let's do, I guess we'll just do legs up the wall, I think. Yeah. Yeah, because it's the timing. Okay. So you're going to do legs up the wall, hips on a bolster. I wanted to do the other thing, but I think we ran out of time. I don't want to keep you too late. Okay. Which I always do anyway. Don't worry. Okay, so you can keep your blanket on your mat just as it is. Pull that whole setup to the wall. Have one hook on either side of your blanket and mat, right? So you're right in the middle. And take time to be in the middle so that you can more easily see your alignment when your legs are up the wall, okay? And then you have a bolster about a fist width distance or so from the wall, okay, on your support. So you have to stand up maybe. Stand up, Julia, and pull your mat all the way to the wall and see how the hooks are. So pull to the right a little and be one hook on either side of your mat. You have to get your props off the mat, otherwise you can't move it very well. Yeah. So you can go to this side if you like. So let's go here. Okay. So see, then your legs are here instead of, yeah. Okay. And then you want to bolster here. Okay. Now watch how I get in. So you sit. Then you use your two hands, lift your hips and swivel. Now I have to bring this arm like threading the needle. My butt came off, right? And then I roll over and I'm in the middle if I start on the edge, right? And then you can use the ropes also for support here. Okay. I think maybe, see which bolster's thinner. I think this one might be a little thinner, might be a little easier, you know? You'll see how it feels. If this is too high, I'll bring you a thinner bolster. Or you can use blanket. Good. Yeah. Take your time. No rush. It's all good. It's all fun and exploration. Funny, it's all fun and games until someone pops a knee joint out, right? So don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you want to have some space for your buttocks to descend. The bolster should lift your chest like the bridge pose, right? But it should be comfortable. If it's uncomfortable, then we need to make it comfortable. So the bolster's too far from the wall. So let me move it a little closer. Now that's too much. Here. Now use these and lift your hips, push into the wall with your bend your knees, lift your hips. Now scoot in, pull yourself in. Yeah. Little high. Yeah, do it again. Keep going until your butt's at the wall. Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. You have to pull yourself closer.
What if you don't have a bolster?
You could use blankets, but this is because it's called Viparita Karani. It's a combination of bridge and shoulder stand. You can do it flat. It's a different pose, right? But it doesn't mean you're not a good person because you have this here. It's because it's a totally different. Okay, yeah, that's all right then. Then just be as close as you can. That's fine. Just there. It's good. Perfect. Let go. You're good. You're in it. Yeah, good enough. Okay. So now, can you feel how this is supporting your sacrum? Right, and lower back, and how it lifts your chest like bridge. So this is the combination of bridge and shoulder stand called Viparita Karani. This is the most restorative pose you can do. So beneficial for you. So it presents your organs here. So not pushing, right? Let everything release, including don't push here. Let this all release. This is lifted, right? But not that, right? Yeah, and then you can also explore your legs, right? So your inner groin and thighs roll this way. Don't pinch. Yeah. And then your sitting bones, your hamstrings release towards your sitting bones, and your sitting bones drop down into that hole. So you have the natural curve in your back. Okay. And so you're working towards that, allowing that. So are you comfortable here?
This could be. Oh.
More back towards your ribs,
Towards the-
towards this way. Okay. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. Great.
Now,
Yeah. And so see, this is, you're still far from the wall, but that's because you're tight and whatever. Over time, you'll get
Oh.
there. Yeah. How old are you? Can I ask? I just turned
I'm-
60 in November, so I'm
I'm
feeling
55.
55. I'm 60. I'm just saying.
But you're much younger. You're biological.
Yeah. So then don't push yourself, right? That's not helpful. So just sort of explore, and you have that wisdom in you. I see that. It's like you don't trust it, and it's out of practice, but you can regain it or gain it. Totally, totally. Okay, because you quickly respond. Many people, it's like takes years for them to even get it in. So take your glasses off for the
I
restorative.
won't see you.
That's okay. You don't need
I'll
to
feel
see.
good.
I'm going to put it here on the block just so. This end, yes, my friend. Both sides. Evenly. How's that? Good? Yeah. And just keep this release going this way and this releasing that. Yes, that way. So there's a curve in your lower back. Yeah. But not at the cost of pain. You don't want to have pain, right? It should create a sense of ease and freedom when it happens. That's what we're looking for, not pain. Okay, good. So you can every once in a while sort of work your legs and feet and then relax the effort and try to maintain the inner thighs go this way and the buttocks broad and then drop. Maintain the alignment as much as you can as you release the effort. Yep. We're going to be here for about 5 more minutes. So take your time and you either stay with your legs straight or you can do variations if you want. So totally up to you. If you're happy here, just stay here and breathe. Take a little deeper breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and bend your knees and slide your feet down the wall. Come to a comfortable squat with your feet on the wall and a little bit wide apart. So the soles of the feet on the wall. And widen the feet and knees a little bit apart. Yeah, so it's very comfortable. A couple of breaths there. And then when you're ready, you're going to push into the wall, lift your hips and roll side to side and scoop back on your blanket. Keep your bolster where it is. And then you're going to rest your buttocks on the ground and bring your feet together, knees apart on the bolster, Baddha Konasana. So scoop back, stay on your mat, just push into the wall with your feet and push yourself back, rolling side to side as you do so. Keep going, go further back, keep going, further. And then the feet on the bolster. And if you like, you can have your toes and balls of the feet turned apart from each other on the wall. Yeah, and be there for a few breaths. Kanako, bring your buttocks all the way off that bolster. Yeah, and your feet on the bolster. Yes. And then inhale, bring your legs up and your feet flat on the bolster. Pause for a couple of breaths. Maybe scoot yourself back just a little bit more. And then you'll cross your legs at the center of the shins in Sukhasana, easy pose, feet and legs on the bolster. You might need to move back a little if you're touching the wall. And then inhale and raise your legs up and change the cross of your legs. And then release the legs down again. And observe how that's different. You can make any adjustments with your feet and legs and hips and distance from the bolster to make it more comfortable. And then inhaling, raise your legs up, bring your feet flat on the bolster for a couple of breaths. Feet about hip width or so distance apart. Relax your groins and back and abdomen. And then roll over onto your side and rest there for a couple of breaths. In the fetal position, you can rest your head on your upper arm if you like. So your head's not falling. Look towards the ground. Yeah. So bring your right arm all the way under your head and your left arm on the underside. Yeah, there you go. Like that. Exactly. It's like when you're going to get out of bed, right? Look towards the ground. Let yourself fall towards the ground a little. Yeah. And then keep falling towards the ground as you come up. Pull your waist in and let your head be the last thing to come up. Use your front body, not your back body. Uncurl your spine. Use your arms, both arms. Pull your arm back. Pull your waist in. Look down. Yeah. And then come up. And then sit cross-legged to close. Sukhasana, easy pose. Roll the front thighs in, broaden the backs of the thighs. Always do that for yourself. So you can feel the broadening of the pelvic. Yes, and the release of the legs more. Exactly. And then take prayer position, which is not Anjali Mudra. I just learned in my mudras class. This is Anjali Mudra. Jala is water. Anjali is offering of water. This is how in India, people offer water to the sun in the morning. So this is Namaste Mudra, prayer position. So, but we'll bring the thumbs to sternum and lift the bottom sternum to the top, roll the upper arm bones back and draw the shoulder blades down, firmly on the back, tailbone towards the pubis, lift the pelvic floor, sides of the waist firm. So you have support of your bandhas. Okay, and then we're gonna do a closing chant together. We'll Om together and then call and response on the closing chant. So take a deep breath in.
Okay.
Om. Sahana, oh, sorry, wrong chant. Asatoma
Satoma,
Satgamaya
Gamaya.
Tamasoma
Soma.
Jyotirgamaya
Tirgamaya.
Mrityurma
Mrityurma.
Amritam Gamaya.
Gamaya.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Take a deeper breath and lift your heart. And then as you exhale, release your head over forward, chin towards your chest. Maintain the lift of your chest as you release your hands down to your thighs. Bow your head to your heart. And feel a sense of yourself at your heart center, not just at the front, but also at the sides and the back of your body. And with your eyes closed on an inhale, slowly curl up the back of your neck and rest your head over your shoulders. And with your eyes closed, raise your gaze so that the gaze is at the horizon. Bring the eyes to the back of the head and soften and broaden your internal focus so that you could look in all directions and drop down into your heart center. And imagine you're sensing and feeling and hearing and seeing all from your heart center in all directions. And then allow your eyelids to gently float open. Namaste. Thank you. Have a good day. Thanks for coming. Asato Ma is, Sat is truth. Asat is not truth, right? Lead me from the untruth to truth. Asato Ma Sat Gamaya. Tamas is inertia. Tamaso Ma, or dullness or lethargy or ignorance. Jyotir Gamaya. Jyoti is light, the light of wisdom or knowledge.